everybody, and Merry Christmas. Man, Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a great morning so far, or a great day. Pastor Josh and I wanted to sit down and just chat with you a little bit as we kind of wrap up our season of With. I hope you've been able to catch some of our devotionals this season as we kind of talked through the different elements of really what is Advent. So we called it Season of With, and it was a great opportunity to kind of explore how God wants to spend time with us. But really, and especially if you kind of grew up in maybe some more traditional settings, well, we really just kind of mirror this idea of Advent. And so as we kind of wrap up today on Christmas, Josh, I want to ask you, what does Advent even mean? Why is this an important season for us to engage?
Yeah, and I was one of those families that grew up doing Advent all the time, and it's something we enjoy doing in our home. And there's so many themes that come along with it that we've covered: the hope, joy, peace, and love. Mm-hmm. And really, even the word Advent means arrival. It's this idea of coming, of arriving, and it's all centered around the person of Jesus, God coming to be with us, and how all of those themes, the joy, the hope, the love, and the peace, are experienced in that arrival. Yeah. And so I think that's what's so awesome about using the Christmas season, and then today, here on Christmas Day, getting to just celebrate the coming of Jesus and just the arrival of him and the celebration of that. Because I was thinking about a story I read about a mausoleum in Italy, and so they've got all these really ancient buildings, and in this one they had a lot of mosaic work, like little small pieces of glass, building out these different pictures of Jesus. And of course they don't have electricity in there. It's dark, but they do have these little donation boxes. And I was reading about how tourists will gather and drop a coin in the donation box, and when you do that, a light will trigger on to shine on the mosaic. And so for that brief 30 seconds, you're able to see the picture, take all of it in, see how all the pieces put together just this amazing work, and then it shuts off again. And the tourists are grumpy and wait till the next person drops in a coin. And it was interesting as I was reading that, thinking about how being a light in darkness and waiting to actually see what you're longing for. That's really what Advent and what today on Christmas we celebrate, is that because of Jesus, because of Christmas, the lights are turned on. We now have a clear picture and the arrival of hope, joy, peace, and love through the person of Jesus, and that we can experience God in that new relationship in a way that we would not be able to know and experience without him.
That is so good, because it's almost like the Christmas season was built for this, because not only do we have those themes that, I love that imagery that you gave, where they build into the piece, where suddenly we see the light of who Jesus really is, but even the way that we experience the Christmas season is sometimes like that. We'll put some decorations up, and then we'll maybe get some gifts, and then we schedule some family time, and we put these little pieces together. But then at least in our best years, maybe not every year feels like this, but on our best years, then Christmas Day hits, and you're kind of this is what I've been building all these pieces together for. And that same, it's almost like it's a mimicry or an image of what Jesus is trying to show us as well.
Right.
It's really, really cool. So take us a layer deeper, Josh. Show us what does that mean for us spiritually as we kind of look to these kind of big themes.
Right, because all that can become really normal.
Sure.
I mean, we do this every year.
Yeah, right.
And actually, the verse that we have for Christmas Day is here in Matthew 1, first page of the New Testament. And it's here in Matthew 1, verse 21, where actually an angel is speaking to Joseph in a dream, and is kind of talking about God's plan and how he's using Mary and assuring him. And he says that Mary will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. And this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. So there's two names that come up. There's Jesus, which is a great name. It actually also could be Joshua.
Why do you like that name, Josh?
It's a great name. So Jesus, or Joshua, means God of salvation.
Yeah.
And
wait, who's the angel talking to?
Yeah, he's talking to Joseph.
Oh, how nice.
Whoa, it's amazing. And then the second name, Emmanuel, which he's connecting back to who God prophesied Jesus would be. He would be God with us.
Yeah.
And so those two names, that God is salvation and God is with us, even those words like salvation, Jesus, Emmanuel, become very normal, but they're meant to just show something so profound and something that really we can only experience because of Jesus coming to be with us, that really we get to enjoy the person of God because he has come near to us. It's not just his gifts. You know, a lot of times we know that like God's up to something and maybe he's going to work in our lives and we'll experience his blessing or favor in one way or another. But what has happened through Christmas is that God has come to be with us, and that we're not just thinking about the gifts of God anymore. We're actually thinking about like the fullness of knowing the giver.
Yeah.
And I thought of it like, I mean, me and you both have little kids, and we were talking about what little kid doesn't love sugar or candy, or cookies, right? Christmas, you go from like Halloween to Christmas. That's like
my daughter
the
asks for a
spot.
treat after every meal.
Oh yeah,
every meal. Can I have a treat? Can I have a treat? Can I have a
so
treat?
many cookies in our house right now. But if I told my 5-year-old or my 2-year-old, hey, do you want some creme brulee? They'd probably be like, what is creme brulee? Like, is that a vegetable or something? There's no, I don't want that. But if I said, hey, do you want some vanilla pudding with sugar on it that is heated up with a flaming torch? They would be like, whoa, okay, hold on. This sounds like a great dessert. And I think what happens is we end up just getting used to like the normalcy of it, and we forget how awesome something is. It becomes like, what's that again? What's peace? What's joy? What's hope? And the way all that begins to make sense when it becomes common or mundane or even unknown is we come back to Jesus. And just like how a 5-year-old's not going to know what creme brulee is,
Right.
We need to continue to remind and remember, which is the whole point of Advent, the whole point of Christmas. We need to remember who Jesus is and the significance of what it means that he's with us and that we can walk through all of life with him.
Yeah, that's so good, Josh. I'm so encouraged by the fact that God continues to drop like these nuggets in our lap to continue to show us that little glimpse of who he is. And I want to encourage you all today as you're watching this, and whether this is one of the first things you're doing in the morning, or maybe it's later in the evening, or who knows, maybe it's even after Christmas that you're catching up. But as we think about the different elements of Christmas, this is God trying to help us see him. And so as we spend that purposeful time with our family, as we connect with people that we just know we need to connect with for whatever reason, as we share gifts, as we be generous with each other, as we spend time emphasizing the important relationships in our life, all these different themes that go along with Christmas are actually these small pieces that God is saying, right. And the source of that, the end of that, the life that is really behind all of that is Christ. It is Jesus. It is Emmanuel who has come to be with us. Now, through all these devotionals this season of With, we've encouraged you to check out some of these resources and kind of be able to grow. And while the Christmas season is over, I think the biggest thing that our heartbeat at Grace Church as we navigate this together is don't let the season just drift, right? So Christmas is here. It's wonderful. But as the season moves on, like, let's make sure that we're continuing that intentionality of seeking those glimpses of God so that we can be with him throughout the rest of our lives. And so thanks for sharing this time. Josh, thanks for sharing that. I love that imagery. Excited to spend some time with God today. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, Merry Christmas.